to our feet, we're going to go to the book of Joshua. We're going to go to the last chapter in Joshua. We're going to start with the 13th verse, and all too familiar scripture. When you get it, say, still saved. Joshua 24, verses 13 through 15. When you get it, say, still saved. All right, I need some more still savers. Amen. Joshua 24, 13 through 15. And when you get it, say, still saved. Almost saved. I need you still saved. Amen. Amen. 24, 13 through 15. So you're the last chapter in Joshua before they get to Judges. Still saved? All right, all right. So I'm going to read this, and I'm going to read from the King James to make it very clear. And I have given you a land for which you did not labor, in cities which ye built not, and ye dwell in them, of the vineyards and olive yards, which ye planted, not do ye eat. Now therefore fear the Lord, and serve him in sincerity and in truth, and put away the gods which your fathers served on the other side of the flood and in Egypt, and serve ye the Lord. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Amen. Lord, add a blessing to the reading and to the hearing of his most holy, holy word. Amen. I remember as a child in Chicago, and growing up there, I grew up in a great house. As I told you, I didn't know what a broken home was till I got to college. Amen. My parents were divorced, but there was still love in the house. Amen. We still had access to my father who loved us. I remember my father would take me around affluent people, and he would show me their imperfections, and particularly he would show me their crimes. And I would ask him and talk to him about, why should we do the right thing when there are others who are doing the wrong thing? And I looking so good from it. And my dad, I remember him saying, son, no matter what you do the right thing. So you do the right thing. We have been bombarded this week with affluent people who have either pled guilty or have been found guilty in our court system. Affluent, allegedly rich men or women who have been granted immunity. And if you're granted immunity, you are granted immunity from the potential crimes that you have done. It is fascinating to see at such a high level this kind of activity that has occurred. And yet there becomes a justification on both sides about what is right and what is wrong. Our theme today is the power of choice. I'm a student of the criminal justice system, as I attorney, and that is where primarily I practice in. And so I'm bombarded with people on a daily basis who have made choices. We end up in circumstances because of our choices. Please know that I strongly believe that these men who have been found guilty at some point had great value for their law degree, had great value for being able to call themselves lawyers and then being able to get or have some status for being lawyers and having that knowledge. But somewhere along the way, greed gets a hold of people, and then it changes our mentality. And then we make choices to either become part of the greed or leave the greed alone. Ultimately, it ends up when we talk about sin, that there are issues that we choose to become part of sin, or we choose to be without sin. Now that's choice, church, and it's choice. And when we see at such a high level, and please know this, we do need to be in prayer, because this does lead to the highest position of government in our country. It does. It does lead to that. And we cannot be Christians and step back and laugh and hope for the worst for people. I grieve at this man who pleaded guilty. He have a family. He have children. Think about the guy. Who was the guy that they call in that big Ponzi scheme? I can't think of his name. Madoff. There is grieving for choices that he made. And now it has affected the family and all who are involved, and led to children even committing suicide. So we see, church, and understand the power of choice. And that choice is a part of us being saints. Yes, it is. From the very beginning, there was a choice. You can eat from this tree or not. But if you eat from this tree, this is what happens. But if you leave it but if you don't eat, there you can live and then have the blessings of the God. Yes, Lord. So church, choice is something that we are bombarded with on a daily basis. Choices that we make then set the pattern and the phase for our life moving forward. Choice on who we'll love. Choice on who we won't love. Choice on where we work and the kind of work we do. Choice on the kind of work that we won't do. Choice is all a part of it. And so we have to approach choices with some kind of Christian accountability. Right. Because one thing that we know, that if we choose Christ, that's the best choice. Hear me on this. Now, the thing here is that the spirit of choice is huge for us, right? And Joshua, in his leadership now, has been able. Keep in mind, he had a unique view because he was there from the beginning. Yes, he was. Right. He has seen the ups and downs of all of his people, prior to him becoming the leader, and then after coming the leader. And I have to believe Joshua at this point in this last chapter is saying, boy, there are going to be some problems amongst his people. Yes, Lord. And the concern that Joshua has is that, and if you read the entirety of it, the concern is that this people with their freedom will revert back to the slavery mindset of the worship of false gods and the disrespect of the God who has brought them through. Right. Joshua, there is no reason right now that Joshua is making this statement. He is looking at the mentality of the people whom he have had to walk with, talk with, and whom he have had to lead. And that's what makes chapter 24 such a profound chapter, because he's getting into the position, and you can see the frustration that he as a leader is having, because why would he have to say something like this, choose this day whom you'll serve? Because he's dealing with the people who have all the factors and who have been through everything, and still they can't get it right. And so even him as a leader is coming to the point that there's something on the inside of this people that they have got to deal with, but they got to make a choice to deal with. That's it. You know, sometimes you can show people everything and they still will make the wrong choice. You can show a smoker, this is what your lungs is going to look like. They'll still go ahead and smoke. You can show a drinker, this is what your liver is going to look like. This is the trouble that you're going to get into while you're driving, and they will still go ahead and they will still drink. You can show a person, you can show the sister, this the problems you're going to have with this dude. These are problems that you're going to have. You can show the brother, there's a problem that you're going to have with this sister. They will ignore everything you say, won't even come to church because I want to be left alone, and they'll still go ahead and still deal with them. You can show somebody how hot the stove is, they'll still put their hand on the stove. So there's something wrong on the inside because we make the wrong choice. Come on, church. I can preach to you week in and week out about choice, and you'll still go ahead and make the same choices that's been messing you up before I started preaching about it. I can tell you about scripture. You can choose to listen to it or you can choose not to, but you make your own choice. And Joshua is taking the point at this time for individual accountability. I can't call it for you, but I can call it for me. Yes. The end of his days is here. And he is aware of the fickleness of his people. And we have to be careful that we don't fall into the same predicaments that this people get into. We can't let the world tell us how to worship. We can't let them tell us how we preach. That's right. How we praise the Lord. That's right. Come on, I've always shared when I got truly saved, I was so on fire, church. I mean, you didn't even want to call my answering machine. You didn't even want to call that. All you hear is praise the Lord. He's worthy to be praised. He will not leave me nor forsake me. I'm getting to shouting just on my answering machine, and it would click off with woo. Right midway. Right. You get the praise and you'll get the shouting, and somebody will say, yo, it don't take all of that. Maybe not for you, but if you know what I've been through, you get up and shout with me. Oh, help me, Holy Ghost, help me, Holy Ghost. So Joshua is understanding now, right, that he can do all what he can do, but the people still have to make a choice on whether they're going to follow the Lord or whether they aren't. Come on. The verses 6 through 14, they're key here, right? Because the Lord is speaking about an informed decision. If you read through that, God is saying, look, this is all, I'm giving you my resume. I'm giving you my resume. Right. This is what all that I have done to be able to get you to this point.
That's right.
Now what you gonna do? Come on. That's the challenge. That's the challenge for us. You know, we'll panic if the doctor says that we sick.
Amen.
Right? God come in. Look what I brought you through.
Hallelujah.
Right? When the bank account is low, we'll panic. God come in and say, look at what I done brought you. This ain't the first time you've been low. This ain't gonna be the last time you've been low. But I pulled you through the low moment last time. I'll pull you through the low moment this time. Yes. It's God is saying, look, the clothes you got on, I gave them to you. That right mind you got, I gave them to you. Oh yes, I've often talked about that true saints like it when they get fired from a job. Because they know it's another one coming. That's why they walk out dancing. Say, I got a better job coming. In fact, I didn't like this job anyway. Whoa, help me hold it up. So church, we have to be about the right choice, right? Now, the mentality has to be right. If you go, let's go to verse 15. Let's do this quickly here. Verse 15, still saved? All right, look at this. If it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord. That was a very powerful, right? King James said bolder than any other version. If it seems evil to serve the Lord. Joshua, he started his leadership journey with be strong and of good courage. In the beginning time here, as a leader, now recognizes the tragedy of this human condition. You see, the beauty of our condition is that we have joy.
Yes, Lord.
Right. That even though God blesses you,
yes, Lord.
Right, and following the Lord in His ways does not seem worthy to you.
Say that, Pastor.
How can that be? And these are the people of God that are so close to the Exodus. Right? They know that they are in a land that they shouldn't have had. And in church, we have to be careful that we don't take God for granted. Church, I think we've been around long enough to know this. We don't have to have today.
That's right.
Come on, somebody. Come on, we done been together long enough as pastor and congregation to know that there were people who passed on. We need to see it. Could have been us easily. Come on, talk to me, somebody. Right. We sitting here by God's grace. Right. But see, you can't take your sunrise this morning. You can't take that for granted any more than you can take the fact that you're gonna lay down tonight. Right? That's why praise should be a part of everybody's waking up. It should be. It has to be, especially if you're in a hospital room or if you're in a rehab facility. Praise should be like, oh my God. Thank the Lord, I'm still here. Come on. Joshua is saying that, look, this is not for the weak-hearted and flimsy. Lukewarm is not warranted, for they will be spat out. The battle is set for those willing to passionately pursue and live according to the will of God. That's what it is. That's our choice. You can be delivered and still not appreciate it.
Yes, Lord.
But that's your choice. These men this week who have been either convicted, all have been convicted, who have either pled or found conviction, made a choice. Now you can make a choice because you know greed. You can choose greed, and this is what's on the other side of greed. or you can shun it and say,
Yes,
I
you
stick
can.
with Jesus.
Yes, Lord. Hallelujah.
I'm just grateful I didn't have a greedy Savior.
Yes, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
He wasn't taking, he was giving.
Amen. Everything.
And then finished it by giving his life.
Life. Say that. Say that.
The challenge for us as a church is not to get frustrated, right? There are things that occur that challenge us. And when the challenge comes, we can't just seek to run from the challenge just because it gets too hard. It requires too much. Should it be a challenge to forgive somebody? Should it be a challenge to be forgiven? Somebody come up to us asking for forgiveness and we don't even want to give it. Right. Why? Because it takes away the viciousness that occurs that we've been living on. Is it a challenge just to love somebody?
No, it's really not.
That should be something that we should be doing without any thought.
Amen.
So some of the challenge for us is just getting up and coming to church. Should that be a challenge? Come on, talk to me. Come on now. You can't give me the forgiveness and love and then you run away from it on the coming to church now. Come on, somebody. Is it a challenge for us just to be a church?
No, it's not. It's really not.
Christ paid it for us. Come on, choose this day whom you will serve. But my brother finishes with the power, and he says it in such a good way. As for me in my house, will serve the Lord. You can get preached to all day, but you got to believe it. Right? That's where the power comes, in the belief. If there's no belief, there's no faith, then it's just a book with words that goes on the shelf and look good in its greatest social gathering that they can say, oh, you have a Bible. But is it yours? Choose this day whom you will serve. He said, were the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, taking them back, will you go back to Pharaoh?
Yes.
Or the gods of the Amorites? So they rid themselves of Pharaoh, but then had to deal with the Amorites and their God. Is that whom you'll serve? Oh, we're finishing with, but as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. Y'all, he's saying in a way, look who's with me. Come on. Who's with the Lord? Who's on the Lord's side? Will you be that one? Or will you be the one that runs away? Oh, I love the Shakespearean plays, and I love how they, the challenges that come from them, and you see these characters playing. But I told you before, I'm a fan of King Henry V. He takes the throne after the death of his father, and he inherits a pending battle with France. The French army is large and has outnumbered the English, and now Henry is faced with the task of inspiring the troops to fight for the cause. But it's interesting that he begins one of the greatest literary speeches in this time, but he says it like this: if we are marked to die, we are enough to do our country loss. And if we to live, the fewer men, the greater share of honor. And he goes on to say, he which hath no stomach to this fight, let him depart. Who will you serve? On whose side will you be on? Do you have the stomach to stand up for righteousness and tell the crooked people that you ain't gonna go their way? Do you have the power to stand up and say, I'm on the Lord's side?
Yes, Lord. Really about it.
Oh, it says no weapon weapon formed against us shall prosper. Oh, that's one of the greatest declarations, because it says we're covered wherever we go.
Amen.
Oh, and even in death, we don't stay down.
That's right. Hey.
We rise to be with our Jesus.
Say that.
Come on, let's give God praise for his holy word.